Hi, I'm Collie, and today we're gonna do something that it's a little different for me anyway. We're gonna do a mind body class. So that's more of a class that's in between the two styles of yoga that I've previously posted. I definitely have two extremes of yoga up on YouTube right now, restorative and the vinyasa classes that I have, at least I hope, have been pretty energetic classes that have gotten your heart rate up, maybe made you sweat, and haven't had a tremendous amount of instruction in those. So this class today is intended to be more of an all levels accessible to everyone as the restorative classes are, but I plan to move a lot more in this class and really try to work the whole body through a variety of movements. So the playlist for today is called Mind Body 60. And if you follow me on Spotify, I've been trying to put an asterisk next to or at the to start the playlist name. So it says asterisk Mind Body 60 to make them a little easier to find because there's so many playlists on there. If you follow me, Mind Body 60. If you don't follow me, I'm CF Soto, CF is in Frank Soto 19 dash US. And the easiest way to find me is to already follow me on Spotify. The next easiest way to find me is to find me through Facebook and any of the Spotify playlists that I posted, and then find this playlist through that. So if you want to pause this, take the time to start up the playlist. If you do that and you're watching and listening on a computer, you can control the volume of Spotify and the volume of the video separately. You can do that through the Spotify app. There's a volume control in the lower right-hand corner, and then your overall computer volume will control the volume of my voice. So if you want to start the playlist now, you can. And we're going to start class today in child's pose. If you're already on your back and you want to stay there, you're welcome to do that also. But if you want to start in child's pose with me, I recommend a closed knee child's pose and just letting your body melt down over your knees onto the floor. If the floor is not accessible to your head, you can use a block or a pillow, anything you have to bring the floor up a little higher. You can send your arms back towards your feet, letting your shoulders fall away from each other, putting some space in between your shoulder blades. Feeling your lower back release, just letting everything start to settle. This shape, especially with closed knees, really allows for a separation through your back body from side to side. So starting up at the top, your shoulders really in the shape are about as far away from each other as they can be. The shoulder blades relaxing. Middle of your back, your skin pulling away towards the sides, pulling away from the center, from the spine, going down towards your lower back. Just a separation, everything kind of pulling to its own side, resting back, releasing. Taking a couple of breaths with your forehead down, taking some big inhales through your nose and sighing it out through your mouth. Inhaling through your nose, sighing it out through your mouth. Again, inhale and exhale. If you feel like You want to move towards a wider kneed child's pose, just sending your knees out however far feels good. Not crossing your feet may mean kind of adjusting things. You can let your big toes touch. One of my teachers calls this tadpole. And I think that the toes touching in the back is really indicative of the tadpole part of this. So again, letting your hips sink down towards your heels, arms reaching out in front of you, letting your chest melt down towards the mat, your forehead, filling up through your back body and exhaling out. In a moment, we'll do a counted breathing exercise. If you're comfortable doing it in child's pose, then we'll stay here to do it. If you're not, this is a pretty easy shape to come up to a seat from. You can do that as well. We're just going to do a square breath, 4 counts in, 4 count hold, 4 counts out, and a 4 count hold. So taking in a breath here, holding the breath that you have, exhaling it out. And then inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. And exhale. Just letting that breath go. Finding your comfortable rate and rhythm for your breath. Hopefully finding a 4 count of your own inhale and exhale. Keeping those inhales and exhales even, steady. This is a good practice to try to find your Ujjayi breath. That Ujjayi breath is a breath that comes from a hugging of the vocal cords. Makes an audible inhale and exhale. Sounds like this. It's not forced at all. It's just, again, more or less a hugging of the vocal cords. And this is a practice that will allow you to really try to find it. It's a breath that not only brings a focus to your practice, but it really builds the heat in your practice. And building heat in your practice can be good for a lot of things. It can be good just to bring up the energy of a practice, but also just to find that internal concentration, that fire, see what moves you. So starting to just move up into tabletop. You may have to bring your knees together a little bit, finding that flat spine, really grounding down through your palms, all the way out through your fingertips. Imagining 4 corners of your palms pushing down, those fingertips, just extensions of that. Making sure your hips are under, your knees are under your hips. I'm going to go through some cat-cow here. So as you inhale, dropping your belly, lifting your chest up. And as you exhale, rounding your spine, letting the crown of your head and your tailbone go down. So as you inhale, opening up your chest, hips, head, and shoulders rising up. And as you exhale, rounding your spine. Inhaling to open. And exhaling, rounding. Staying with your breath here. Inhaling And exhaling. If you want to stay with that, you can. If you want to start a little different movement, just some barrel rolls with your chest. So rounding your spine and then sending your torso over towards the right, dropping your belly down and around. Had another person call this the cement mixer the other day. Thought that was a good visual for this as well. You can reverse directions at any time. Sometimes I like to take these one in one direction and then one in the other, just continually reversing kind of whatever your spine needs today. And maybe you stuck with cat cow, which is perfectly fine too. Coming back after you feel like you've evened that out, coming back to your flat spine and walking your hands forward towards the top of the mat, melting your chest down, letting your hips stay up over your knees. Again, maybe using a block, something under your chin or your forehead, just letting your chest melt down. If your arms reaching long is a little too much, you can bend your elbows, releasing it a little bit. Coming back to your breath, feeling those inhales expanding out through your ribs and releasing. Starting to walk your hands back, finding that tabletop shape again, and extending your right foot back behind you. You do that, pushing in with the ball of your right foot, feeling that stretch down back of your leg. You can play with a little bit of a pelvic tilt here. It's almost like cat-cow, but it's a much more subtle version of it. It's much more about the pelvic tilt. But when I do that, I can feel a different stretch down the back of my leg, and you may be able to as well. Coming back to your neutral spine here and starting to pick up your right foot, cross it over towards the back left corner of your mat. And then just starting to look over your left shoulder, trying to bring your left shoulder a little closer to your left hip. So you're not trying to bring your head all the way around. You're just trying to create that sensation of a pinch in your left waist. Stretch on the right side body, pinch in the left waist. Really trying to use those obliques to draw your hip and your shoulder a little closer together. Releasing that, coming back to center, letting your right leg go back behind you, and then starting to just pick your right leg up. From here, if you want to stay right here, you can, or if you want to try picking up your left arm, sending it out straight for a balance. Finding your flat spine here as you inhale, and as you exhale, pulling your knee and your elbow together underneath you. Inhaling, sending everything back long again, and exhaling, pulling it together. Inhale, long, and exhale, knee to elbow, really rounding your spine. Inhaling, long, and exhaling, knee to elbow. Inhale, long, last one, and exhaling, bringing hand and knee down. Going through one round of cat-cow here, just to even out the spine, inhaling to open and exhaling to round. Then extending your left foot back behind you, pushing in to the ball of your foot. Again, maybe playing with the tilt of your pelvis here to feel that stretch differently down the back of your leg. And maybe not, it may not feel good to you. Starting to pick your left foot up, crossing it over towards that back right corner. And this time, looking over your right shoulder, trying to bring your right shoulder and your right hip a little closer. That stretch down the left side body and that pinch in the right waist. Imagining those obliques, those side abdominal muscles, really wrapping around, pulling everything together. Releasing, uncrossing your leg, picking that left leg up. Maybe your right hand comes up, reaching long as you inhale, and then exhaling, pulling knee and elbow together under your body. Inhaling long and exhaling, pulling it together. Inhaling long, exhale, pulling. One more extension, inhaling long, and then exhaling, bringing everything down. Again, maybe going through one round of cat-cow here, if that feels good, evening out everything, neutralizing your spine. And then starting to sit back on your heels, spinning your legs around in front of you. Just coming to an easy seat, bringing your right foot in, or excuse me, bringing one foot in front of the other. I have a message on my screen. From here, in that easy seated shape, just letting your hands rest on your knees, closing your eyes here if you can. Trying to do as much of really any yoga practice with your eyes closed as possible to take out away those external distractions. On your next inhale, bringing your arms up tall overhead, feeling that extension of your spine. And as you exhale, twisting over your left shoulder. So right hand comes to your left knee, left hand comes behind you. Just feeling that twist around your waist. As you inhale, imagining the crown of your head growing a little taller, closer towards the ceiling. And as you exhale, sinking into that twist a little bit more. Inhale, filling you up, and releasing with your exhale. On your next inhale, coming back around forward, unwinding, arms coming up tall overhead, and then exhaling, left hand to right knee, right hand back as a kickstand, straight spine, feeling that twist. Gazing over your right shoulder, crown of your head, as tall as it can be. Exhaling to twist. Letting your exhales just take you a little comfortably, but a little deeper into that twist. Unwinding back to center, arms coming up overhead. And then exhaling to fold forward. So just keeping one foot in front of the other. And folding forward may just be that your hands come down and you stay pretty much upright. You may feel that plenty on your hips. You may be able to come down a little more. Whatever that looks like for you. Letting your head, your neck relax. Be finding a little side to side movement that feels good. Coming back up. Bringing your hands behind you with your fingertips facing forward. And either just pushing gently into your hands to open up your chest or bringing your hips up, opening up even more. Protecting your neck, maybe letting it fall back, but if that is too much strain, just keeping your gaze forward. Feeling a stretch through your upper arms, your hips. Lowering your hips back down and switching whichever leg is forward. So bringing the opposite leg closer to your body, opposite leg forward. And again, inhaling, arms up tall overhead, and exhaling, coming forward. This side may look very different from the other. Whatever it looks like, though, just finding that shape for you. maybe up tall, just bringing your chin down towards your collarbones, or maybe folding over, coming closer to the floor. Trying to keep your hips back and down. It'll change how you feel it a lot, probably. That movement side to side if it feels good. Slowly starting to come back up. Same front body stretch again, bringing your hands back behind you, fingertips facing forwards. Maybe taking the same stretch you did last time, or maybe doing a different one. Picking your hips up or leaving them down. Feeling the stretch through your hips, a little through your core, upper arms. Letting your hips come back down. Bringing your hands to heart center. Again, closing your eyes here if you can. On an inhale, bringing your arms up tall overhead. As you exhale, goal posting out your arms, pulling your elbows down and back. Inhaling, arms back up. This time as you exhale, bringing your arms down, fingertips facing forward. Inhaling to open up through your chest, just opening up, not picking your hips up this time. And then exhaling, hands to heart. We'll go through that again. Inhaling, arms up. Exhaling, goal posting out. Inhaling, arms up. Hands down as you exhale. Opening up through your chest as you inhale. And exhaling, hands to heart. Last time, inhaling, arms up. Goal posting out on your exhale. Inhaling, arms back up. Arms, hands coming down as you exhale. Inhaling to open. And exhaling, coming back to neutral. Starting to move again towards tabletop, through tabletop to down dog. So down dog, if you're not familiar with it, you want your hands and feet to be about plank distance apart. So maybe finding your plank and then pushing your hips up. You may have to adjust a little bit, bringing your feet a little closer or further away to your hands. And if this shape does not work for you, tabletop is a great option. And anytime a shape doesn't work for you, tabletop's a great option, or child's pose, where we started today. If you're in down dog, bending one knee deeply, and then the other, walking out your dog. Letting both heels come back down. And as you inhale, bringing your heels up. As you exhale, bending your right knee, letting that left heel come down. And then inhale, both heels coming back up. Exhaling, bending your left. Just finding the rhythm to that, to your breath. Inhaling, heels up. Exhaling, bending that right knee. Inhaling, heels up. Exhaling, the left knee. That's the last one. We'll just inhale, heels up here. And then exhale, letting your heels come back down. Walking your feet up about a footprint and off the sides of your mat. Maybe your heels or your big toes still stay on. Bringing your left hand towards the center of the mat, still out in front of you a little bit. And then threading your right arm under, reaching for somewhere along that left outer leg. So maybe it's just outside of your calf, maybe it's all the way down at your ankle, bending into your right leg. This is twister for sure. Looking under your left arm. You feel this in a lot of places. A lot down the left side of your body, but also into outer aspect of your right leg. Relaxing that right shoulder. Starting to unwind, letting your right hand come towards the center of the mat, switching to do this on the other side. So threading your left arm under towards the outside of your right leg, bending into your right leg, excuse me, your left leg. Looking under your right arm, finding that twisted shape on this side. Starting to unwind, bringing your hands back in front of you, walking your feet back towards tabletop, and again, dropping your knees back down to find tabletop. Bringing your left hand towards the center of the mat for threaded needle. So inhaling, bringing your right arm up, and then exhaling, threading your right arm underneath. Letting your right shoulder land on the mat. Your left arm can goalpost out, pushing into the mat, or it can go long overhead or even wrap behind you with a bind. Right palm facing up. You don't want to feel this in your neck or your head. There shouldn't be too much weight there. You really want to get into your shoulder with this. So generally moving a little forwards or a little back will help you find that sweet spot where you want to be. Starting to unwind, letting your left hand come back down if it's not already there. Unwinding your right arm, inhaling it up for a counter stretch, and then exhaling, bringing it back down towards the center of the mat. Switching to the other side, inhaling, left arm coming up, and then exhaling, threading it under, sending it under and through, left palm facing up. Again, maybe you just push into the mat with that goal posted right arm. Maybe you send it long to feel that side body stretch. Or wrap it around for a bit of a bind. Starting to unwind, letting your right hand come back down, pushing into the mat through that right hand, unwinding, bringing your left arm up and then down. From here, we're going to spin the right leg back. So your right lower leg is going to be perpendicular to the long side of your mat. We're going to finding a supported side angle. So, excuse me, a supported side plank. So your left leg is going to go straight, right arm underneath your shoulder, left arm extending up. Once you're here, you can send your left arm long overhead, really getting into your side body. You can find some movement, maybe full circles all the way around with that left arm, or maybe just movement through a smaller range of motion. Bringing that left arm up overhead, again, arms like a T. And as you inhale, using your core to bring your torso up. As you exhale, letting your toes go straight in the direction of your leg and taking your right arm up and over. Feeling the stretch down your right side body. Keeping your shoulders, back of your head pulled back, protecting your neck, your spine. On your next inhale, coming back up and then letting right arm, left hand come down, coming back into that tabletop before we switch to the other side. So on this side, you'll let your left lower leg spin towards the back, left lower leg perpendicular to the long side of the mat, right leg long, left arm under your shoulder as you open up. Finding any movement here. Opening up through your chest into your shoulder. And sending right arm tall overhead on your next inhale, coming up, arms out to a T, sending your toes long as you send your left arm up and over. Feeling the stretch down your left side, all the way into your left hip. This gets into the psoas a bit. It's a great muscle to stretch, but it's a tough one to stretch. Connects in a lot of places, all up under the diaphragm. Moves with each breath. Coming back up, arms out to a T, spinning your hands back down to the mat for tabletop again, and then pushing up and back for down dog. Once you get here this time, we're just going to roll forward, finding your way into plank and dropping your knees straight down. Letting the shoelace side of your feet find the mat. And just looking over your right shoulder. So your spine should be in a straight line down your back. Coming back to center, looking over your left shoulder. Coming back to center. And then bringing your hips back towards your heels for a version of child's pose here. Just going to work through child's and swan. So swan is coming forward, basically like we just were, letting your hips drop, shoulders coming back. And then as you exhale, going back into child's. You can make your knees a little bit wider here, opening up, bringing your feet up towards your heels up towards your glutes, and then exhaling, sinking back into a wide knee child's pose. The shape, really, these shapes, I should say, work the front and the back side of your body as you move through them. Moving to your breath as you inhale, rounding forward. And then exhale, rounding back, letting your hips sink back down all the way. Inhaling forward. And exhaling back. Staying back this time. From here, we're just going to slide our way forward onto our bellies. There's no super graceful way to get here. But once you do, either letting one cheek come down to the mat or making a pillow for your head, bending your knees, windshield wipering your legs back and forth, releasing through your lower back. Then bringing your legs back long behind you and finding Sphinx. So bringing your arms out parallel in front of you, like the number 11. You want your elbows more or less under your shoulders, hands pressing into the mat. The more space you put in between your feet, the more space your spine will have. So if you feel like you don't have a lot of room in your spine. If you put your feet out wider, you may feel like you have more. So in this shape, I always like to say if there was one shape where your chest could come forward of your shoulders, this would be it. I don't think that's actually possible, but I think it gets the point across. You really want your shoulders pulled back, your chest proud and forward, using your spine to help you make this shape. Releasing through your glutes, pushing in to the tops of your feet. And then starting to swing your right hand to make your right forearm parallel with the short side of your mat. Bringing your left hand just behind your right hand so it's pushing down. I'm going to do it on the opposite side. So you'll have your right hand parallel to the short side of the mat, left hand pushing into the mat. And then from here, just looking over your right shoulder, trying to keep your hips down, pushing into that left hand. Releasing this, coming back through center, and switching to the other side. So this time, you have your left arm parallel to the short side, top side of your mat, right hand pushing in, looking over your right shoulder. Trying to really ground down through your pelvis, not lifting up one side. That right side's going to want to lift up a little. Staying strong in your left arm. It's pretty easy to stay strong through your right arm, but it's also pretty easy to collapse into that left shoulder. So being mindful of that. Unwinding, coming all the way back down. Letting your forehead come down and bringing your hands off the mat, elbows up towards the ceiling. So elbows at 90 degrees, fingertips down. As you inhale, bringing your upper body up. So inhaling up, pushing into those fingertips a little bit, but really using your spine here. Exhaling as you come back down. Again, inhaling up and exhaling back down. This time, as you inhale up, dropping your right shoulder. So looking over towards the left, really feeling this in your right shoulder. Inhaling back up to center and exhaling that left shoulder down. Inhaling up, exhaling your right shoulder down. Inhaling up and exhaling left shoulder down. That's the last one. So just inhaling back up to center. Coming back down, letting your hands come out towards the top corners of your mat. And this really depends on where you are on your mat, but you want your arms out in front of you. And then just pushing into your hands. So again, it really just depends on your body and where you are on your mat. Your hands may be off your mat, but having your hands out straight, just getting into your spine a little bit differently than Sphinx does. Really grounding into your pelvis. Releasing, letting your chest come back down to the mat. Taking a breath here and exhaling. Starting to move up through tabletop and just standing to the top of the mat, whether that's through down dog or however you want to get there. I basically just crawled my way there, so anything works. Staying in your forward fold once you get there. Letting your shoulders hang, head, neck, everything relaxing and releasing. You can reach for opposite elbows, swaying side to side. Releasing any grip you have. On an inhale, starting to come up, bringing arms up overhead, and exhaling, bringing your hands to heart. On an inhale, bringing your arms again up overhead. And as you exhale, folding forward. Staying in this forward fold for a breath. And then bringing your hands just below your knees, straightening your spine, making the number 7 with your body, sending the crown of your head towards the front of the room, tailbone towards the back, feeling that stretch. Releasing to fold forward. Finding that shape again. Inhaling, maybe hands are right below your knees. Feeling that stretch through your hamstrings, flat back, head and tailbone reaching in opposite directions. Folding down. This time, inhaling to come all the way up. Bringing hands to heart. Inhaling, arms up. And exhaling to fold. Inhaling, finding that flat spine. And exhaling, letting your hands come down and stepping your right foot back. Dropping your right knee. Just getting a stretch on that right hip flexor. So you'll have your left foot forward, left knee bent, trying to keep your knee more or less over your ankle. Slow lunge, stretching your right hip flexor, and then straightening your front leg, pulling your foot, your toes back towards your body, flexing your foot. For you, this may be much higher. You may need blocks on either side of your leg to support yourself. But no matter where you are, you're going to feel this in your hamstring. Not pushing too far. Can move your toes from side to side if that feels good. Sometimes I like to make circles with my foot. Coming back forward, walking your left foot out towards the left edge of your mat, bringing both hands on the inside of that left foot. From here, so this is just a bit of a hip stretch. From here, you can lower down onto your forearms. Your right forearm's going to come down before your left, or you can stay up high as well. But this will just take you a little further into the stretch. Stretching that left hip. Bringing your hands back down, framing your foot, walking that left foot back towards the center of the mat. And then just stepping forward with your right foot, coming back to that forward fold, however many little steps it takes to get there. And then inhaling, coming all the way up. Exhaling, hands to heart. Inhaling, bringing arms back up. And exhaling to fold. Inhaling, finding that flat spine, your hamstrings, stretching here, maybe talking to you a bit. Exhaling to fold, hands coming down, stepping back with your left foot, letting your left knee drop. Feeling this hip flexor stretch on the left. Any little movements that feel good are always welcome. Staying within your comfort zone with what you do. Starting to straighten your front leg, flexing your right foot, feeling this hamstring stretch down, your right leg, right hamstring, outer aspect of the right thigh. Finding those ankle movements if they feel good to you. Starting to come forward for that lizard lunge again. So bringing both your hands on the inside of your right foot out towards the edge of the mat. And again, maybe you come down onto your forearms, that left forearm probably coming down before the right. You can let the instep, the right foot, pick up a little bit, maybe coming out onto the knife edge. I didn't say that on the other side. Sorry about that. I think I didn't say it because I can't do it on the other side, so I didn't remind myself. Starting to bring both hands back down, moving your hands to frame your foot as you bring that foot towards the center. And this time, stepping back with your right foot, dropping your knees down and lowering your torso onto the mat. Once you're here, we're just going to roll over onto our back. So if you feel like your head is at the wrong end of the mat, feel free to change to the other direction. I found for me that my mat doesn't really have a top or a bottom when I'm practicing at home. So once you find your way onto your spine, pulling your right knee into your chest, using your biceps here to do all the work, letting everything else relax. You can let your right knee come out towards your right shoulder. And then moving to find a twist. So letting your right leg fall across your body. You can stack your knees here, or you can just let that right leg fall across. Trying to keep both shoulders down as you gaze over your right shoulder. Really trying to keep that right shoulder down. Inhales, lengthening your spine. Exhales, releasing into that twist. Really starting to let everything slow down. Hopefully, your mind doesn't stir up too much as we start to become more still, although it's pretty normal when it does. When that happens, just trying to find some focus, following your breath in and out, not getting caught up in those thoughts. Beginning to unwind, letting your right leg go long, pulling your left leg in towards your chest. Again, biceps doing all the work, rest of your body relaxing. Letting your left knee go out towards your left shoulder if that feels good. And then finding a twist. Left leg falling across your body. Left arm extended out from your shoulder. That gaze going over to the left. Letting this twist really wring out what you no longer need. Letting those inhales wash through you and exhaling out. What doesn't need to be there? Couple more breaths here. Starting to unwind, bringing your knees into your chest, rocking side to side, then sending arms and legs up towards the ceiling, shaking everything out when you get there. If that feels funny, just remember you're by yourself, nobody can see you. Finding stillness, letting everything drain from hands and feet, arms and legs towards the center. Starting to bring your thoughts back to center as well. Letting arms and legs come down. If you want to pull your knees into your chest, giving yourself a hug for a moment, pulling everything in tight before releasing it down long. You can do that as well. Just finding your shape for Shavasana. Maybe your shape is arms and legs long on the mat. If you have a pillow or anything close by to put under your knees for support, if you just want to bend your knees, letting your feet go out wide towards the edges, knees tilted in, that'll support your spine pretty well also. If you have anything to place over your eyes, I encourage that. Finding your stillness, not only a shape where you can stay still, but trying to find stillness in your mind. Starting with a body scan, scanning from your toes, relaxing everything as you go. Tops of your feet, your ankles, lower legs, knees, thighs, hips. Really trying to release, relax. Coming up to your belly, feeling it rise and fall. Your chest expanding, contracting. Shoulders falling away from your ears. Upper arms, elbows, forearms, thumbs, palms, all your fingers. Coming back up your neck, your jaw, letting it loosen. Tongue falling away from the roof of your mouth. Relaxing your cheeks. Hopefully your eyes are closed, but letting them soften in their sockets. Forehead, releasing. Bringing your attention to that space between your eyebrows. That third eye chakra, said to be the source of your intuition. Maybe you see a color there, clear, indigo, almost a crystal color, crystal clear. As you inhale, seeing that color grow a little brighter. As you exhale, releasing, sending it a little further away, seeing it dim just a little as you release. Inhaling and exhaling, using your breath to focus, settling down, settling in. There's nowhere else to be for the next few minutes, just right here. I'll let you know when it's time to move. These virtual Shavasanas are short, so if you want to stay longer, feel free. Just taking your earpods out or turning off, closing the computer. No need to move if you're not ready. If you are, just letting your next breath be a little deeper than the last. Feeling your breath bring movement back to your body. Finding movement in your fingers and your toes. Maybe rocking your head side to side, stretching long. Any last movements you need. Ultimately, pulling your knees into your chest, rolling over onto your side, using this as a reset. You've spent the last hour, hopefully, breathing mindfully, moving your body to your breath, just being present, giving yourself this time, taking that in, letting it cultivate a little bit of gratitude for whatever that may be. Starting to find your way up to a seat. Keeping your eyes closed if you can. We'll close this practice with an Om, bringing hands to heart center, resting them on your knees. Inhaling here, if you want to Om with me. And exhaling to release. And then inhaling for the Om. On this, whatever day it is for you, it's a Monday for me. Hope it's a start to something good. I wish you all compassion and send you out with my gratitude. Namaste. If you're enjoying these, or maybe this is the first one you've done, send me some feedback. Let me know that you've watched it. YouTube doesn't really, which is a good thing, YouTube doesn't really let me know who's watched it. I can just see the minutes overall that it's been watched. So it's really kind of nice to have it be as anonymous as it is on the user end. But it is nice to get a little bit of feedback every once in a while too. So if you have any for me, I'm happy to incorporate your thoughts into making these practices better. But I hope that you're enjoying them.